the invitation, asterisk, Marcus Chen stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his corner office on the 47th floor, watching the city below transform into a winter wonderland. Fat snowflakes drifted past the glass, and somewhere far below, families hurried home with wrapped presents tucked under their arms. Christmas Eve had arrived, and the building was finally, blissfully empty. Asterisk, he loosened his tie and returned to his mahogany desk, where a half-eaten sandwich sat beside quarterly reports. At 42, Marcus had everything he'd ever worked for. A tech empire worth billions, properties on 3 continents, and a reputation as one of the youngest self-made CEOs in Silicon Valley. What he didn't have was anywhere to be on Christmas. Asterisk, his phone buzzed. Another invitation declined with a polite excuse. His assistant had stopped asking years ago if he wanted time off for the holidays. Marcus Chen worked. That's what he did. That's who he was. Asterisk, as evening shadows lengthened across his office, Marcus finally decided to head home. The parking garage was deserted, except for his black Tesla and a security guard making rounds. He drove through empty streets, the city eerily quiet, until his car broke down 3 blocks from his penthouse. Asterisk, perfect, he muttered, trying the ignition again. Nothing. He grabbed his phone-dead battery. Of course, he'd been in back-to-back meetings all day. Asterisk, Marcus stepped out into the cold, his expensive wool coat suddenly inadequate against the wind. The snow was falling heavier now, and the streets were deserted. He started walking, hands jammed in his pockets, when he noticed a glow of Christmas lights spilling from a narrow alley between 2 apartment buildings. Asterisk, curious, high, ventured closer. The alley opened into a small courtyard where strings of mismatched lights crisscrossed overhead. In the center stood a little girl, maybe 7 years old, wearing a puffy pink coat and a Santa hat that kept sliding over her eyes. She was arranging plastic chairs around a folding table laden with paper plates and cookies. Asterisk, excuse me, Marcus called out. Do you know where I could find a phone? Mine died. In my car? Asterisk. The girl looked up, her round face breaking into a gap-toothed smile. Are you here for the party? Asterisk, party? No, I just need asterisk. You look sad, she interrupted, studying him with unsettling directness. Sad people should come to parties. That's what my mama says. Asterisk, Marcus glanced around the empty courtyard. Where's your mother? Asterisk, inside, making hot chocolate. I'm Lily, and it's Christmas Eve, and we're having a party because everybody should have somewhere to go on Christmas. Do you have somewhere to go? Asterisk, the question hung in the cold air. Marcus opened his mouth to lie, then found he couldn't. No, he admitted quietly. Asterisk, Lily's smile grew wider. She pushed the Santa hat back from her eyes. Then come have party at my place. We have lots of food, and Mama made enough hot chocolate for 100 people, she says, even though there's only gonna be like 10. I don't think, please. Lily clasped her mittened hands together. You're wearing a really fancy coat, which means you're probably very important, and important people make parties better. That's what Mama says. Asterisk, before Marcus could respond, a woman emerged from a nearby door, carrying a large thermos. She was in her mid-30s, with warm brown eyes and flour dusting her sweater. When she saw Marcus, surprise flickered across her face. Asterisk, Lily, sweetie, who's your friend? Asterisk, he's coming to our party. His car broke, and his phone died, and he doesn't have anywhere to go for Christmas, so I invited him. That's okay, right, Mama? You said anybody who needs a place is welcome. Asterisk, the woman Lily's mother looked at Marcus more carefully. Despite his expensive clothes and exhausted eyes, she must have seen something that made her smile. Of course it's okay. I'm Sarah. You're welcome to join us, Mr. Asterisk, Chen, Marcus Chen. He hesitated. I don't want to impose. Asterisk, you're not imposing. We're expecting our neighbors, Most of them don't have family nearby either. It's just a simple gathering. Nothing fancy. Asterisk, nothing fancy. Lily laughed. Mama made 3 kinds of cookies and her special lasagna, and there's going to be music and everything. Asterisk, Sarah blushed slightly. Well, we try to make it special. Asterisk, Marcus should have declined. He should have found another way to contact someone, gotten his car towed, returned to his climate-controlled penthouse. Instead, he found himself saying, I'd like that. Thank you. Asterisk. Over the next hour, the courtyard filled with an eclectic mix of people. There was Mr. Kim, an elderly Korean man who'd lived in the building for 40 years. The Rodriguez family with their 3 boisterous children. A young couple, newly married and far from their home countries. A college student who couldn't afford a flight home. Each arrival was greeted with genuine warmth by Sarah and uncontainable excitement by Lily. Asterisk. Marcus found himself helping string additional lights, his CEO hands fumbling with the tangled wires. Mr. Kim patiently showed him how to unknot them, sharing stories of Christmases past in broken English that somehow conveyed more than a fluent speech ever could. Asterisk. When dinner was served, Marcus sat squeezed between Lily and one of the Rodriguez children at the crowded table. The lasagna was simple but delicious, nothing like the Michelin star meals he usually ate alone at expensive restaurants. Round him, conversation flowed in multiple languages, laughter punctuating stories and jokes. Asterisk. Why were you alone? Lily asked suddenly, her directness undimmed by a mouthful of garlic bread. Lily, Sarah warned gently from across the table. It's okay, Marcus said. He looked at this little girl who'd invited a stranger to her party without hesitation. I guess I spent so much time working that I forgot to make time for anything else. For anyone else. Asterisk. Lily considered this seriously. That sounds lonely. Asterisk. It is, Marcus admitted, surprising himself with the honesty. It really is. Asterisk. Well, you're not lonely now, Lily declared. Now, you're at our party. Asterisk. After dinner, someone produced a guitar, and carols filled the courtyard dofki and enthusiastic. Marcus discovered he still remembered the words to Silent Night from childhood, before ambition had consumed everything else. When Lily grabbed his hand and pulled him into an impromptu dance circle, he didn't resist. Asterisk. As midnight approached, Sarah appeared at his elbow with a mug of hot chocolate. You know, Lily has a gift for finding people who need to be found. Asterisk. Marcus watched the little girl showing Mr. Kim a magic trick with diminishing success. She's remarkable. Asterisk. 3 years ago, my husband passed away suddenly, Sarah said quietly. Lily and I were devastated, but she decided that the best way to honor his memory was to make sure nobody else felt alone, especially at Christmas. This party was her idea. Asterisk. Marcus felt something crack in his chest. I'm sorry for your loss. Asterisk. Thank you. But I'm grateful too. Lily taught me that even in grief, we can choose connection. We can choose to open our doors. Sarah met his eyes. Sometimes the most important people in our lives are the ones we almost walk past. Asterisk. At midnight, everyone counted down together, then cheered and hugged. Lily threw her arms around Marcus's waist, and he found himself hugging her back. This small person who'd seen his loneliness and simply invited him in. Asterisk. Later, as the party wound down, Marcus borrowed Sarah's phone to call for help with his car. Before he left, he pressed a business card into her hand. Asterisk. If you ever need anything, he said. And I mean that. Asterisk. Lily tugged his sleeve. Will you come back next year? Asterisk. Marcus knelt down to her level. I will. I promise. And Lily, thank you for inviting me. Asterisk. That's what Christmas is for, she said simply. Finding people and bringing them home. Asterisk. As Marcus walked back through the snowy streets, something fundamental had shifted inside him. The quarterly reports could wait. The deals could be delegated. Life was happening in courtyard parties and mismatched lights, and little girls brave enough to invite lonely strangers. In the radical act of opening your door to someone who needs it. His phone, now charged, buzzed with messages. But for once, Marcus Chin didn't check them. Instead, he looked up at the falling snow and smiled, already counting the days until next Christmas.